Good evening, Eagles fans, and welcome to your daily dose of Philly football fever. I'm your host, bringing you the latest from the nest at Lincoln Financial Field, where the birds are soaring high but facing a few turbulence bumps along the way. Picture this, it's Week 8 looming, the Eagles are sitting pretty at 5-2, atop the NFC East, and they're gunning to defend that Super Bowl crown from just last year. But hold on to your cheesesteaks, folks. Some key players are nursing injuries that could shake things up. What does this mean for our beloved birds as they prep for a classic rivalry clash? Let's dive right in and break it all down. First off, the big headline grabbing attention today. Star wide receiver A.J. Brown and linebacker Azeez Ojulari both sidelined from Wednesday's practice with hamstring injuries. Yeah, you heard that right. These hamstrings are acting up at the worst possible time. According to ESPN's Adam Schefter, they're among 5 Eagles players who didn't suit up for drills. Joining them on the sidelines, cornerback Adoree Jackson dealing with a concussion, center Cam Jurgens battling a knee issue, and linebacker Jeremiah Trotter Jr. with an ankle tweak. Now, for a team that's built on grit and depth, this isn't ideal. But remember, Philly fans, we've seen our Eagles overcome worse. Think back to the 2017 season when injuries piled up, yet Nick Foles stepped in and led us to that magical Super Bowl 52 victory over the Patriots, our first ever Lombardi trophy. That underdog spirit, it's baked into the Eagles' DNA. Let's rewind to last Sunday's thriller against the Minnesota Vikings, where the Eagles clawed out a 28-22 victory in a game that had us all on the edge of our seats. A.J. Brown was an absolute beast out there, hauling in 4 receptions for 121 yards and punching in 2 touchdowns. One of those was a beauty, a deep bomb from Jalen Hurts that Brown snagged in stride, shaking off defenders like they were yesterday's news. It's plays like that that remind us why Brown is the premier weapon in this offense. But here's the twist. Amid all the trade rumors swirling around him, Brown's been vocal about some frustrations with the team's offensive scheme. He's racked up 395 receiving yards and 3 touchdowns on 29 catches so far this season. Not shabby, but you can sense he's hungry for more consistency. Trade talks? They've been buzzing since he expressed discontent, but as of now, he's still donning that midnight green jersey, and Eagles GM Howie Roseman isn't one to panic sell a talent like this. Shifting to the defensive side, Azeez Ojulari's hamstring pull came during that Vikings matchup, and it's got him questionable at best for Sunday's showdown. Ojulari was pegged as a breakout candidate this offseason, the guy who could elevate our pass rush to elite status. So far, he's logged 6 tackles, 3 quarterback pressures, and 3 stops, but 0 sacks. That's got a sting for a linebacker in a Vic Fangio-coordinated defense that's all about disruption. Fangio, our defensive wizard who's turned units around in places like Chicago and Miami, has the Eagles' pass defense humming. We're allowing the 4th lowest opponent completion percentage at 59.4% and a stingy 80.1 passer rating, also 4th in the league. That's lockdown coverage, folks, reminiscent of the Brian Dawkins era, where Weapon X patrolled the secondary with ferocity, earning his Hall of Fame nod and forever etching himself in Eagles lore. But wait, there's more to unpack here. On offense, Jalen Hurts has been engineering a passing attack that's clicking like a well-oiled machine. He's got that dual-threat magic, scrambling for yards when needed, but his arm's been precise, connecting with studs like Devonta Smith and, of course, Brown. Smith's that Heisman-winning speedster from Alabama, slim but slippery, who's become Hurts' go-to for those clutch third-down conversions. Together, they're evoking memories of the Donovan McNabb-Terrell Owens duo from the early 2000s, when the Eagles made 4 straight NFC championship games. Yet, the running game, it's hit a rough patch. Saquon Barkley, our big free agent splash from the Giants, talk about stealing from a rival, managed just 44 yards on 18 carries against Minnesota. That's under 2.5 yards per pop, continuing a streak of inconsistency. Barkley's a powerhouse, with that Penn State pedigree and explosive cuts, but the offensive line, anchored by the retiring legend Jason Kelce's successor in Jurgens, needs to gel. Kelce, by the way, that undersized center who became a Philly icon with his Super Bowl parade beer-chugging speech, his absence is felt, but guys like Lane Johnson are stepping up on that right tackle spot. Now, let's bring in some expert takes to spice this up. I caught up with fictional Eagles analyst Dr. Gridiron. Okay, that's me channeling my inner pundit, but imagine if we had Reggie White, the Minister of Defense himself, weighing in. White, who terrorized quarterbacks in the 80s and 90s with 124 sacks in green, might say something like, "These injuries test the soul of a team." Back in my day, we played through pain because Philly demands warriors. Ojulari, step up your rush, get that first sack and watch the floodgates open. Or picture a post-practice chat with Hurts. Man, AJ's my brother out there. We're locked in, ignoring the noise. This offense? We're building something special, just like we did en route to last year's ring. And from a die-hard fan at a South Philly tailgate, yo, injuries schminjuries. We've got the link rocking with Fly Eagles Fly chants that'll scare any Giant away. Remember the Philly special trick play in Super Bowl 52? That's the ingenuity we'll unleash. Diving deeper into the stats for you number crunchers out there, the Eagles' 5-2 start puts them in pole position in the NFC East, a division that's always a bloodbath with the Cowboys, Giants, and Commanders lurking. Compare that to last season's roller coaster, starting hot, then stumbling before rallying to the Super Bowl. This year, our plus 45-point differential screams contender status, but the injury bug could derail it if not managed. Hamstrings like Brown's and Ojulari's? They linger, often sidelining players for 1 to 3 weeks. Historically, the Eagles have a 60% win rate when missing a top receiver, thanks to depth like Dallas Goedert at tight end, who's quietly amassing yards with his sure hands. Tactically, against the Giants this Sunday, the rivalry. Think back to the miracle at the Meadowlands in 1978, when Herm Edwards scooped a fumble for a touchdown to stun New York. Or more recently, the 2022 playoff thrashing where we dropped 38 on them. Without Ojulari, our edge rush might lean on Nolan Smith or Josh Sweat to contain Daniel Jones, who's mobile but turnover-prone. If Brown's out, expect more targets for Smith and Barkley in the screen game to exploit New York's suspect secondary. Prediction time. I see the Eagles grinding out a 27-20 win, but it'll be tight. Long term, these injuries could force Howie to dip into the trade market, maybe eyeing a pass rusher like Max Crosby, as Cowboys owner Jerry Jones is reportedly doing. But for Philly, repeating as champs means health first. With the NFC wide open, the Lions and 49ers are tough, but we've got the pedigree. Connecting this to the bigger picture, Eagles football isn't just a game, it's Philly's heartbeat. From the Rocky steps to pop culture nods in movies like Invincible with Mark Wahlberg as Vince Papale, an undrafted fan-turned player, our story inspires. And in current events, with the MLB playoffs heating up and the Phillies in the mix, Philly's sports scene is electric. Let's channel that energy into a Super Bowl run. Alright, Eagles Nation, that's the scoop from the city of brotherly love. Injuries are part of the grind, but this team's resilience? Unmatched. Tune in Sunday as we take on the Giants. Grab your gear, fire up the grill, and let's make the link shake. Fly Eagles fly. Until next time, stay passionate, stay informed.